Jake looked down at himself and tried to get used to the fact that himself wasn't anything like himself he'd been used to being before. Last he could remember, he'd been a little boy. He hadn't been a boy in a while. He didn't know how long. So it wasn't totally weird he wasn't in a little boy's body anymore. But it was still pretty weird that he was in a thing that wasn't alive. It was also weird that he couldn't remember exactly who he'd been when he was a little boy. He had vague bits of memories, but they didn't make any sense. Like he could remember thinking it would be fun to come back to life as a puppy or a kitten. But why would he think that? Now here he was inside a metal thing. He didn't know enough about anything to understand what it was. But he did know he wasn't alone. He was sharing this strange space. It was like waking up in another family's house. "Hello?" Jake said. "Who's talking?" a child's voice asked. The child sounded a little like a boy Jake used to know in school. A boy who always talked back to the teacher, and getting himself in trouble. "Oh, hi," Jake said. "I'm Jake. Who are you?" "What's it to you?" I was just being friendly." Jake remembered learning that the way to deal with kids like this was to let them be as tough as they wanted to be. "Sorry, I'm Andrew." The child's voice was rough. He didn't sound like he was saying his name. It sounded like he was throwing down a challenge. "Hi, Andrew," Jake said. "Why can't I see anything?" "You can't see the truck?" Jake asked. "If I could see the truck, do you think I'd say I can't see anything?" Jake thought Andrew sounded angry. Very angry. "Sorry," Jake said. So we're in the back of what I think might be a trash truck. We're with a lot of junk." "Figures," Andrew said. "How come?" Jake asked. "Story of my life." "What do you mean?" Andrew ignored the question. "How come you can see and I can't?" He sounded like he was gearing up for a tantrum. "I'm really sorry. I'm not sure," Jake said. "I mean, I know we're inside of some kind of metal thing. I don't know. Some kind of entity or something? I can see what's around it, but I don't know how I got here. And so I don't know how you got here. And I sure don't know why I can see, but you can't. But maybe I can help you see. Do you know how you got here?" Andrew was silent for a minute. Jake waited. "Well, it might have something to do with the stuff I was in." "What stuff?" Jake asked. "How's it any of your business?" Andrew snarled. Jake sighed. "It's not. I just thought it would be nice to be friends, and friends get to know each other, so I just wondered what you meant by being in stuff." The truck grounded to a stop, and there was silence. "I haven't had a friend in a long time," Andrew said. His tone was defensive, as if he was daring Jake to make fun of him. "I'm so sorry," Jake said. His memories were disjointed and muddled, but he remembered he'd had friends. "That's awful." Jake wanted to know more, but he knew better than to keep asking questions. The back of the truck opened, and a guy in coveralls started unloading the truck. "I could be your friend," Jake said. "Why would you want to be my friend?" "I just like making friends," Jake said. "So how do we do that?" "Do what?" "Make friends!" Andrew made an exasperated puffing sound. "Geez, you're dense." Jake felt like he was making first contact with a new species, like in sci-fi movies he could remember watching. "We talk to each other, tell each other things, and find out about each other, and then we become friends," Jake said. He figured that was close enough. "Like what things?" Andrew asked. "Whatever you want." Jake wanted to ask again about Andrew meant by being in stuff, but he waited. Andrew was silent for a few seconds. "Have you ever been so angry you just wanted everyone to know it?" Jake thought about it and remembered the time he was really angry because he had to leave school. But why? It didn't matter. "I've been really angry," he said, "but I guess I didn't need everyone to know it. But I had someone to talk to. Did you?" "No." Jake wasn't sure what to say, so he stayed quiet. "Did you want to get back at the person you were angry with?" "I don't think it was a person. I think it had to do with being sick or something. My memories are kind of fuzzy." "Fuzzy? Yeah, so are mine," Andrew said. "But I do remember wanting to get back at someone who hurt me. I think I attached myself to them. I got into his soul, made sure he couldn't move on when he should have died. I remember I wanted him to suffer, the way he made me suffer, but I don't remember what he did. I just know I hung on, no matter what they did to him to try and save him. I wanted him to hurt. At one point, Jake couldn't hold back any longer. He blurted, "That's terrible that you felt so bad." "Shut up. Just shut up," Andrew yelled. "I don't need your stupid sympathy." "Sorry." Several seconds passed. Then Andrew had more to say. "I remember they tried to kill him, but I wasn't going to let him go until I was ready. It's weird. I remember being so angry and determined, but I don't know why. It hurt Jake to be so close to this much hate, but he wouldn't have left if he could have. Andrew needed him." "You still there?" Andrew asked Jake. "Yes, I'm listening. You told me to shut up." Andrew laughed. "Yeah, I did, didn't I?" Jake was quiet. Then he said, "So, where is the person now? The one you were angry with?" "I'm not sure. I know I was in him when we got to this big place with lots of cool stuff. All I can remember after this is wanting to be everywhere. I can remember being all over the place in all kinds of things. I remember this animatronic dog, Fetch. He broke down in a thunderstorm. Sucky toy, not made well." Andrew made a raspberry sound. Then he sighed. "So I think I was in Fetch, sort of. I think that's how I got here. I don't know why I think that, I just do." Jake stayed silent. He was still watching the man unload the truck. "You can talk now," Andrew said. "I don't know what to say," Jake said. "I feel bad that you went through something that was really bad." The man reached for Jake and Andrew's container. Jake had been wondering what to do about the man. He thought about moving what they were in would startle the man. But now he didn't really have a choice. He didn't want the man to throw Andrew and him away. So Jake moved, which meant the thing they were in moved. Jake saw the man stare in alarm. Wanting to comfort the man, Jake reached out to touch his face. The man screamed and grabbed his head, collapsing on the gravel behind the truck. The man's body began to wither like he was a sponge being wrung out by an invisible hand, and his body sucked in on itself. His eyes fell inward, disappearing, and black streaks ran down the man's cheeks. "What just happened?" Jake shouted. He jumped out of the truck and stared at the bald man's body. "I can't see, dummy," Andrew snapped. "What are you talking about?" "I just thought about touching a guy's face, and he died." "Why'd he die?" Jake realized he was screaming, but he couldn't help himself. "Why are you asking me?" Andrew was sounding defensive again. "The other guy died too. I just remembered," Jake said. "It's probably me," Andrew said. "Could it be Fetch, the dog?" Jake asked. "Nah, it's me, I bet." "You want to kill people?" "No, then why?" "I just want to scare people, okay? Like, you know, give them a zap." "The zap is killing them." "Well, that wasn't what I wanted." "Okay," Jake thought for a second. "So, if what you're doing isn't doing what you want, maybe it's doing something someone else wants. Maybe something else is here with us." "In this thing, you mean?" "Yeah, like a hitchhiker, or like a flea on a dog." "That's stupid," Andrew said. "You were a hitchhiker on the man who killed you. Why can't someone hitchhike on us with us?" Andrew was silent for a second. Then he said, "It just sounds dumb." "The thing is," Jake said, "that if you did do it somehow, whatever is causing you to do it could be in everything you got into." "I infected them, I remember now." "What?" "I infected everything I threw my anger at." "So everything you infected could hurt people. Innocent people." "Hey, I'm not like that. I just wanted to hurt the bad guy." "But you said you infected stuff with your anger. You didn't think that you would hurt them." "Shut up." "Fine, I'll shut up. But you're going to go and find all the stuff you infected." "How are you going to do that?" "You won't help me?" "Why should I?" Jake thought for a second and then tried something. He wasn't sure he could do it, but yes, he could. He could feel Andrew's thoughts. He'd be able to find the stuff Andrew infected, even without Andrew's help.